Hello everyone, it's Matt. I thought I wear black because they say it's slimming, but really I'm fat. I really need to figure out what to do to even lose weight. I've tried intermittent fasting, I'm still keeping at it, but I'm just starving and still chubby. So, what can you do there? Just avoid mirrors, I guess, and only show your body from the chest up, right? But anyways, so I thought today's video I would do the topic of rude people and how to deal with them, which I still haven't figured out, by the way. But I will share a few stories with you of rude encounters that I've had, all the way going back to my childhood, and then learning how to deal with them as adults. So, let's get started, right? So, I think that the first time that I can recall dealing with somebody that was rude or it was awkward was when I was in first grade. So, when I was in first grade, I had a teacher named, should I say her name? Mrs. Tilly. And she was doing a friendship wall. And in the friendship wall, what was the purpose of it? Is that you would write down the name of a friend in the class. So each person was paired with somebody, or I should say they paired themselves. And Matthew, me, didn't have anybody. I asked the girl next to me, didn't really know her, didn't care to know her. Actually, no, I did. I was just saying that to make myself feel better right now. And I asked her, and she said no. So Mrs. Tilly came over and said, Matthew, what's wrong? I was like, nobody will be my friend. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then she asked one of the other students, and they were like, oh, I'm friends with him. I'm friends with Bob. You know, I'm writing Bob's name and my name. And as the kids would go up to the board, they would put their names and the other person's name next to them that says, Sarah is friends with Martha, right? So then I said to, the teacher, so it's, oh, I'm so sorry, Matthew. I said, will you be my friend? And she was like, no, I won't. But what I could do for you is you can write Matthew is friends with Matthew. So Matthew, no other student, me, Matthew, was friends with Matthew. So every day after that, I would look at that friendship wall and I'd sit in front of it and I would see Toby friends with Bob, Martha friends with Sarah, and Matthew friends with Matthew. That was just sad. And I think that was the first time of being embarrassed and feeling maybe self-conscious. You kind of learn how to be your own friend at that point. So so that was like early on. I was like, oh, okay, this is where I'm gonna be, right? You're gonna encounter rude people. All right, had to take a little break because my camera was moving weird. So there's that. So I went through my story of me having an embarrassing moment as a child. And if you're still listening, congratulations. Either you can relate or you just enjoy my pain. Just joking. But as I became older, you always encounter awkward, rude people, situations. And I was dating one of my boyfriends at the time who was a sommelier, if that's how you pronounce it. Works with wine and went to college for it. Very educated. By the way, when I met him, he was dressed in a suit. He looked very handsome. And I was like, okay, Matthew, you moved on to new group of people to date. And, we didn't have much maybe in common. But I thought, why not, right? So he had advised me that, hey, I want you to go to this party with me. There's going to be other people there who are successful. Now, at the time I was a supervisor, I didn't feel too successful. I worked there. I was very good at my job. I, was proud of it. But he wanted me to be there because he felt self-conscious and he just wanted the support. So I got dressed up in a cute sweater, by the way, and button up. And I didn't feel so cute once I saw everyone else there because what they were wearing. And so we get to the party, and it's comprised of successful gay and lesbian individuals who all have various careers, spanning from them being psychologists to them having their own businesses. One was a finance or worked with budgeting and helping other people organize their finances. We sat down at the table, and they were like, oh, very welcoming. I would say more so to my boyfriend than myself. I mean, they were very interested in what he had to do. He, studied out of Paris and things like that, and here I am, a young Puerto Rican, young Puerto Rican guy who went to community college, got my degree in graphic design, right, and was working as a supervisor, right? So they were going around the table talking about what we did, and they got to me and they were like, oh, what do you do? And I'm like, oh. You could tell they're not very interested. And to be honest, I didn't want to be there because I saw the mentality that these individuals had. And I never really got along with, I shouldn't say got along, but I never had an environment that was accepting where individuals felt that they were better than me, especially when it came to jobs and things like that. So even as me as a supervisor, I never saw myself better than those who I supervised, or even my current position. I mean, you leave that job and you're the same as everybody else, Why do you feel the need to think that you're better, right? So they go around and, they're very, interested in Eric, like my boyfriend at the time, I said. And they get to me and they're talking, and like I said, you could tell they're just not interested at all. And Eric leaves the table because he sees someone that he knows, right? And one of the women, her lesbian financier, and her wife owned like a dance studio or something like that, or some sort of yoga thing. Finance, lesbian lady. I shouldn't really say that. Finance, I forgot her name, Mary. We'll call her Mary. That's more appropriate. Because she might refer to me as that gay guy. And actually, to tell you the truth, I don't care. But Mary says to me, hey, Matthew, I'm interested. How did you get invited to this party? And I was like, oh, Eric was invited, and he wanted me to come along to be present and to support him and to be here for him. And she was like, oh, that makes sense now. I was wondering, how would you got invited? Or, I was like, so I continued to eat my food and, slowly trying to keep your food so you keep on at least enough so you can justify you picking at it and eating it and just not engaging because you're like, oh, I'm just enjoying my food. And then, the party ends and, everyone splits ways, everyone's shaking hands. A gentleman who was sitting at the table across as well came up to my boyfriend at the time and told him how attractive he was and how much they liked him and things like that. And then, my boyfriend gets in his car and we talk, and he tells me how much he didn't like going to that party and he felt awkward. And I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, maybe it was awkward for him to be idolized and have so many compliments come to you. In the meantime, I was like, shouldn't I feel awkward? Shouldn't I feel insulted right now? But really, I was really more angry. It was what I call my Pretty Woman moment, where Pretty and Julia Roberts' character goes into that store and they're like, you can't shop here, basically, and then Julia Roberts later gets revenge. I'm not to that point. I'm still waiting for that point in the movie for myself where I can see them and go, huge mistake, huge mistake. I don't know if I'm ever going to get that. Unfortunately, life doesn't work out that way sometimes. But, so, it was embarrassing. I felt disrespected. I felt that I had little say in the matter. And I let other people really determine how I felt about myself. Just to let you know how the relationship went, you know, years later, he one day just didn't call me, I was texting, text stopped, and then I called, and no answer, and I was like, oh, is everything okay? And then I got blocked, and then Facebook blocked, and that was the first time I ever been like, I forget the term that they use for it. Is it ghosted, or I'm not sure if that's right, but I felt really depressed, right? Here I had been in a relationship where really I didn't invest 100%, to be honest, because I was always concerned after my previous breakup about being hurt again. And then I took a chance, and I felt really depressed and sick. And I think I felt really sick because I allowed myself to enter a relationship and to be hurt, right? So actually, there's another rude and awkward situation, is when you're dating somebody and they just disappear on you. And at the end, I go, this is the way I deal with it. Looking back, I was like, you know what? Did you really want to stay in that relationship? Despite how the person looks at everything, right? And you know what? I wish him the best. I am happy where I am now in my current relationship, and you live and you learn. So it is what it is, right? But you got to see from going as a child to adulthood how my life is. And again, I look at that time right now, and I'm going past my 5 minutes. I'm sorry. But if you do like the videos, you want to hear more, and you want other stories, please let me know. That was 3 stories in one of awkward situations, terrible situations, and how to deal with rude people, which is, listen, you're going to have rude people in your life, right? I mean, they're unavoidable. I mean, look at right now. I mean, okay, you know, I don't need to say anything further. You can take that however you want. But we have all encountered rude people. We've encountered people who put us in positions where they're trying to make us feel less than. And don't let anyone, do that. Really, when we have that happen to us, we're allowing ourselves to have a negative opinion of ourselves. And whenever someone says something negative, I imprint that myself and give validation and hurt myself. So when you're dealing with a rude person, if you really think about that person as, you know what, they're flawed, they have a problem, I don't have the time, and focus on yourself and taking care of yourself and making yourself happy, I think it makes it much easier to deal with that. Unfortunately, it's not always going to work. You're going to have your feelings hurt sometimes, but that's life. If you like the videos, again, I'm going to say subscribe, hit a like. I'm going to try to get a little more sophisticated with my technology. Maybe we could do video reviews. I'm going to try to talk about my weight issues and share little stories about my life. Hopefully you can relate. Hopefully you got to laugh a little bit. Other than that, until next time, bye.